Scott and Harvard, did you hear about The Rock?
Jake Lloyd Bacon, I heard that he came back on Raw day one.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. He got in trouble.
The Rock is in trouble?
Yeah, he broke the #1 rule in all of pro wrestling.
Bad mouth and Baywatch?
Don't hinder gender.
What's the penalty for that?
Well, he's going to be night 1 of WrestleMania.
Ooh.
The Rock, New Year's shakeups, and more today on Pro Wrestling Palskis. Scott Narver.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
And hello to everybody out there listening. Happy New Year to you. We hope you had a great one. This is our first live episode back. We are here live.
With 0 fuck-ups.
With no screw-ups at all. For the exclusive patron-only live stream, those of you who are patrons get to join us for these episodes live as they happen and tell us how good we are at doing what we do. We do hope that if you're a listener, you'll consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/pwpalskis because
it's voyeur friendly.
Yeah, because joining us live is the best part of the whole show. The whole point of this podcast is to be interactive. We wanted to create the most interactive wrestling podcast there is because God knows you have plenty to choose from. Before we move on,
Bully Ray's not going to talk to you.
Yeah, he doesn't give two shits.
You think on his Busted Open show that he's like, yeah, let's take some callers. Yeah, let's read some fan mail. No, he's not going to do shit. He's not gonna want to talk or interact with you at all. He's talking at you, and that's it. Story's done.
You know what he sure the hell isn't doing?
Being friendly?
Acknowledging the current PWP World Champ, Tim Redbeard, a.k.a. Blood Fuzz. Blood Fuzz will defend that title.
Oh, Timmeaner.
It's not taking long this year. He'll defend that title later on today because we will be drawing the first PWP champ of the year.
Before you get to defend your title, don't get too loose because you want to keep it tighter.
You want to keep it tighter. Also, by the way, when you do the point, when we say the name, I don't know if you've noticed this. You probably haven't, but I've redesigned the way our live stream looks a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I go all over.
It's now dead center. So now if I point this way and you point to the middle for you, although I think we're reversed on each other's
I don't point
screens.
mid.
No,
I don't.
No, you're not mid. Oh, that's why people don't ship you and I. A lot's happened. You and I have not been live. We haven't been current on the main feed for quite some weeks.
Yeah, I've been flatlining this whole time.
It's currently snowing fantastically where I am. It's very distracting. I want to go run around outside and make little snow angels.
And be out of breath.
Yeah, it seems like it's so lovely.
You would not go do snow angels. Bullshit.
Oh, I think you interpret how much I may love the snow.
You with those clothes you're wearing right now, you'd be like, I'm gonna get them all.
Clothes, of course. I'd put on my jacket that I got. I got a nice jacket for Christmas for the winter.
So you're gonna put your new jacket on and go get it all wet?
It's the whole point of it is that it's like a snow, wintry, rainy jacket.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, you don't buy a lot of shit.
You can go do it. Nobody's stopping you. You want to go do that for a while? I'll do the news. It's fine. I got jokes.
All right. Well, I might take up on that. Let's see. Well, it depends on how good the news is, I guess.
Well, before we get to the news, something I wanted to reserve because we talked pre-show, like what we did over the holidays and such. One of the things that I got to do that I wanted to reserve for the main show, and we can talk more your thoughts on it as well, is so I went to Dallas with my brother. We had a pinball trip and watching Dallas Cowboys football and doing all that. And you can hear more about that in the pre-show. But while in Dallas, and it's hard to convince my brother to go to movies a lot, but I said, hey, we're going to be in Dallas. They got Alamo Drafthouse in Dallas, and he likes Alamo Drafthouse. And I said, what better place to watch the Iron Claw about the fucking Texas-based wrestling family in Dallas who performed at the Sportatorium that him and I totally missed as kids. We didn't see it. It didn't show up on our radar, so we missed all things Von Erichs. I'm like, why don't we go watch the movie about the Von Erichs in Dallas? And he's like, well, okay, yeah, let's totally do that.
The only thing that could have made it better is if the Sportatorium existed and had a screen and they were showing it there.
Or all the Von Erichs were there. Turns out they couldn't be.
No, they couldn't be.
So I thought that was a pretty amazing experience to go see where I grew up in Dallas. Fucking Von Erich movie with my brother, watching wrestling stuff in Dallas. That was awesome, as well as having Alamo Drafthouse delicious foods. And guess what, Jake?
What?
In less than 12 hours, I'm going to go do it again at the Alamo Drafthouse in downtown LA. Go see Iron Claw with friend of the show, Mark Warzeka.
Oh, that's going to be fun. Has he not seen it yet?
No.
So you're going to are you going to watch him watch the movie the whole time? Like, oh, wait till this part happens.
I'm going to sit there. I'm going to go, hey, that guy dies. Hey, that guy dies. Hey. That's a Nemeth.
What?
He doesn't die, but you know.
What I'm going to assume, since you're agreeing to go see it again, that you at least enjoyed it enough. Like, you didn't despise it.
My idea.
To go see it again. So you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. So the first thing that I enjoyed was the Alamo Drafthouse, their pre-show that they put together. Because you've seen plenty of those, right? Like, having gone to Alamo Drafthouse, that they do something thematic for the movie. So this same, like, it was clearly put together by a wrestling fan.
Right.
And had a lot of wrestling clips and funny stuff, like a lot of bad stuff, a lot of fun promo stuff. And I had never seen this before. A massive compilation of Ric Flair woos. Like, done. Bang, 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 bang. One after the other. God damn, is it one of the funniest things.
Really?
To watch a man woo
for a minute,
so many times in a row that it just he's a fucking cartoon character. There's no sense of like, oh, that's Ric Flair. This is fun. Like, oh, he's a legend. He's one of the best. Nope. He's a fucking Looney Tune.
Does it cover like a bunch of different generations of him?
Yes.
So do you hear the difference in woos? Like, were some of the
a lot of them were the short woos.
Oh, okay, got it.
Because those really play out the best when you do woo woo. Woo,
yeah.
Woo, 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 woo. And all the shoulders and the
even just you doing that, I can imagine it.
It's so fucking good. I really hope that they put this online. I don't know if they took it from something, because sometimes they take stuff that pre-exists. But I told them, like, we got to go see this, because for a fun warm up to a movie like that is also great.
Yeah, because the movie's going to leave you in fucking shambles.
Really? Were you in shambles? So non-spoiler talk of the movie, because there is stuff that still could be revealed about the movie. That's
100%.
It's not just a clear cut, like, I know what happens, so...
And it's an A24 movie, so people don't know what to expect from it, because they're sort of known for thinking outside the box as a distribution company.
That's what the A stands for, outside the box.
Yeah. Outside the box.
Outside the box.
Wait, what were you were talking about? Some of the things that are non-spoilery. What were you asking?
So just about the movie in general, because you were in shambles, you say.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, it's because it's heartbreaking, even when you know some of the story that inspires it, which again, it is not verbatim. It's a heartbreaking thing to watch. People have to experience this, and then also find beauty, because I think the thing that the movie does really well is that at the end of it, I don't mean the ending, but I mean at the end of the experience,
the journey.
Yeah, the journey itself. It's not as like you would think. Fuck, you're gonna leave this movie and just think that there's no hope in the world.
That's what everybody says. So yeah, that's all the.
That's what I mean. That was what I was going into it. I was
the
going
expectation.
into it expecting it.
I found it uplifting.
100%. And
I
that's
don't
what
leave
mean.
in shambles. I was like, I feel good. Hence, I want to watch it again.
But I guess in shambles to me also could just mean like emotionally in shambles. Like I'm all over the place emotionally. I'm feeling hope. I'm feeling sadness. I'm feeling all of the emotions.
I felt the sadness, not at the end, but like I say, I was more uplifted by when I'm walking out, and I felt good.
Right.
It wasn't like The Wrestler, where I feel like, Jesus Christ, this is all awful. Everything's awful. This is so terrible.
Now this, yeah.
I think there's a few things about the movie that I think we can discuss, spoiler free again, where the movie does a great job in focusing more on the family than on the wrestling.
100%.
About being matches centric or any of that stuff. So and when they do dabble in the wrestling or show the matches, it's all done great.
Yes.
Like you don't feel like this is put together shittily.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of special effects they use that I understood everything that Ryan Nemeth said, but that's some fucking THX crazy shit. No mumble mouth. That was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it juggles both worlds, the wrestling world and the family world, so well that you don't need to know anything about wrestling or the family to enjoy it as well, which I think was nice. Because Alexandra knows a little bit of their story, but so when she was leading up to Ghost, because she was almost more excited to see it than I was. She's, just was really invested in it. And she doesn't know about the family. And there was a point where she went, I want to watch The Dark Side of the Ring. And I thought, like, well, I wonder if that will add to or take away. If knowing the real story takes away from it or add to it, I would argue that knowing the real story in ways kind of does take away from it. I got to sit, I don't know about your theater. My theater was filled. It wasn't a big theater. So it was a sold out small theater. Mm-hmm. It was very clear that the majority of the people in our theater had no idea who these people were, didn't know the story, didn't know this tragedy, because there were things in the movie, again, spoiler free, that you and I expect to happen because we're familiar. And there's like a reveal in the movie that I think we all know about. And people gasped when the reveal happens. And I just thought to myself, like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Like, yeah, that's right. My reaction was, yep, that's what happens. That's there it is. And everybody else was like, oh, so they were so emotionally affected by some of the cinematic abilities to unveil a story slowly.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was fairly unfamiliar with the Von Erich story because I've just always, I think I've had the feeling and hesitation that, or what people have when it comes to this movie, they're like, if I go see in the Iron Claw, I'm going to be fucking depressed. So I know there's some great documentaries on the Von Erichs, or just diving into it. It's like, yeah, I know it doesn't turn out great. Like I've never wanted to do it, but I thought, all right, well, I'll go see this because this is a dramatization and it's different.
Yeah.
And I'll see performances and I won't see, because that was one of the other things they show in the pre-show of the Alamo Drafthouse is they show so many of the fucking local commercials that the Von Erichs do.
Oh, really? Like the real ones from back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like the local pizza fucking shop. And you just, you watch these, and thank God they didn't do the Geico. No, not Geico. What's the Cro-Magnon insurance commercials?
Yeah, that used to be the Geico Caveman.
Yeah, the Geico Caveman. Thank God they didn't put everybody in the Von Erich.
Right.
Like all your foreheads and jaws are going to look the same makeup.
Right.
Because that just would have been distracting. Because when you do see all the brothers together, you go, Jesus Christ. You are brothers without question.
Oh, yeah. That
there wasn't any breaking of the mold. That mold was used over and over again.
I would also argue that family tree back a few generations didn't have as many branches as some of the others did.
Yeah.
And
it's, there's more charisma in ring than when they go, hey, why don't you talk about pizza?
Right. But the movie's just fucking fantastic. It's an
really great.
Astounding feat for no pun intended, for what they had to do. And again, like I don't want to say too much in case people haven't seen it, but like in comparing the real world to the fiction, they definitely created a true work of fiction that is highly inspired. That's how I would say. And after the movie, I immediately went and found every interview I could with the filmmaker, screenwriter, because I was curious about like, oh, why did you change this? Where did you come to these conclusions? And
well, there's one major thing that I think we should talk about that the whole wrestling world has been talking about constantly.
okay, which is that?
Ric Flair's portrayal in the movie.
I love it. Do you love it as much as I do?
I thought about it a lot during the movie, and I heard a lot of people bad mouthing it. And it's like clearly everyone involved, especially the writer director, knows I have to make a choice here.
Right.
And I'm sure the actor who's playing Ric Flair looked him up and was working on an impression or doing some version of like, here's accurate, charismatic Ric Flair. And it is not Ric Flair.
And
it is a dramatic interpretation for a drama, but you're not getting the Ric Flair that you know.
But I kind of like that because I think the rest of the movie is so grounded that to have a caricature, which is what any impression of him would be in this movie, it would feel like you're watching Young Rock, I think. Do you know what I mean? I think that they specifically had a guy who didn't look anything like Ric Flair very intentionally. Yeah. Like I think this was more of an essence of a person at a specific point in the industry of wrestling, more so than it was, this is a guy playing a Ric Flair that we know.
It's tricky because when we see Harley Race earlier, you go, that's Harley.
That was pretty good, but Harley Race
that's a sausage finger, just gravelly Quint from Jaws, like he's just serious and
there's some other characters too that are like, oh yeah, that's that guy and that's that guy, but they're not as prevalent.
But Flair is tricky because I feel like at the point in which we're introduced to Flair in the movie, we're in no way supposed to like him. We're in no way supposed to be wrapped up and go like, oh, he's really charismatic, even though I'm on the Von Erich train at this point.
Right.
There can't be any sense of, oh, but that guy's kind of funny. I kind of want to see what Flair does. You just have to not like anything about Flair. And I think for a wrestling fan, it's massively distracting because you're taken out for a while going, what the fuck is this?
Right.
That's not Flair. He doesn't say walk the aisle. He says walk that aisle.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff about it where it's very strange, but I think it works in the context of the movie.
But
I feel bad for that dude.
And
the guy's getting it from
the actor?
left, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's because wrestling fans are the fucking worst. Like, it's just like, this isn't this is a fucking movie. This isn't a recreation of fucking wrestling. Like, you need to learn how to separate these two. You can jump on the Young Rock because that is like trying to really be this cartoon version of whatever this reality is and mixing locker rooms and, like that I think this is a original story inspired by true people more so than it is
right.
But man, it's just it's fantastic. But I will say, like, about Flair, the turn, so to speak, right? The because it's not like he doesn't have a huge role in the movie, but like we all know he's got a match, right? They have a match with like
a very significant point in the movie, a very significant match,
and the post-match scene, one of the most it's outstanding. From like a storytelling point of view, from an emotional growth point of view, everybody in it is great. And the guy who plays Flair is so good because the juxtaposition to what's happening in the Von Erich family in that scene and how Flair is approaching, just it's so good. It's so fucking good. It's so hard I want to just say really specific things and dive into the weeds with you. We should have just done like a Ironclaw deep dive on that fucking.
Well, yeah, it was. I considered throwing that out there for it, but I think the other thing that is pretty damn cool. It's one of the best, and I think this is the go-to now. When we talked about this with callers and stuff in the past, where they said like, "Hey, what's the first match that you show someone, your significant other, right? Someone you're dating, someone who knows that you like wrestling." I can think of all the conversations I've had like with my girlfriend's parents or just other people where they go, yeah, but isn't it, I know it's predetermined, but doesn't it not hurt?
Right.
Like when they talk about it hurting or it's not that big of a deal. This has it has the most significant wrestling painful moments I've ever seen that's done really dramatic, and I think was the moment that shook me to my core is when we see Zac Efron's Von Erich at a moment when he's like diligently training and beating the fuck out of himself. He runs the ropes and he's taking back bumps.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. That to me is the watch this. This is what wrestling is.
Right.
Watch this. And they have to do this over and over and over again. And there's no faking it. You just see it happen. And I think that's the clearest sign to a person to go like, this is what happens in wrestling. This is the minimum of what their body takes.
You know,
you don't have to like it, but it helps anybody understand.
You know, and I think another thing that the movie does really well too is through some of the interactions with people in the movie that are not in wrestling. When Zac Efron explains being a champion, that is the most concise, best example or best explanation rather of, well, a championship doesn't matter when they just tell you can have it. Do you know what I mean? Like you didn't earn it. Because he's doing it
like I'm not revealing everything to you. I'm still talking a little bit in the show form and protecting it a little bit, but here's what it means in the blend of both.
Right.
Like I'm talking to the fan and I'm also talking as my job.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's just a fantastic movie. I fucking loved every second of it. I can't wait to revisit it in a year from now because it's one of those movies that I'm like, oh, I want to savor. I don't like watching it. Like, I know you said you're going to see it again. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'll wait a little while, but
couple of weeks and some more fried pickles.
Yeah. But go see Iron Claw. It's fucking fantastic. It's probably going to get snubbed for a bunch of Oscars and stuff like that because it's so late in the year that those movies they're always a little bit tougher because people have already submitted a lot of shit.
They submitted
earlier. They submit. Oh, that's what happens. Well, anyways, that's the show for the week, I guess. So much for the news. What do we have? Some actual?
Yeah, well, of course we got some news.
We could fit a few.
Yeah, WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther and wife Ginny welcome the birth of a baby boy.
So many more wrestling babies.
Gunther posted on social media, "This morning, our son entered the world. What a blessing."
Oh shit! You know what that baby's
what
undefeated.
They did, right?
Oh no! What?
Well, yeah, you normally they have to slap the baby's butt to wake him up, get him crying, to make sure he's breathing okay.
They just had
Walter Gunther fucking chopped that baby. He moved the doctor. He said, "I got this."
Well, no, it's interesting you say Walter because his son has opinions. His son's like, "No, I like the Walter character better. I like Walter as a name." So he calls his dad Walter. Good for them.
Good for them.
That's an intimidating dad.
Yeah, no shit. I say we get an arranged marriage going right now. Like I think we should bring this back. I think we should get Brock Lesnar's shot put record breaking daughter. All, hey, guess what? We got your future husband. He's just been born.
Aren't they like 20 years difference?
No, because she's like in middle school or high school.
Oh shit! I thought she was in college. I thought it was a college record she broke. It was a high school record.
I think she's younger than that.
Got it. Okay. All right. Hey,
and then he's got another one that'll probably break a shot put record.
Sure.
But let's get those two families breeding. That's what I say.
All right. Too bad Vince isn't in charge. He'd write it into their contracts.
Oh, he is in charge. You just don't know it. WWE star Charlotte Flair undergoes surgery for her knee. So this is pretty big deal. She suffered a torn ACL, MCL, and meniscus from the December 8th episode of SmackDown. And she's expected to be out of injury for 9 months. She's been posting her journey on social media, just like doctors assessing her. And it's a pretty big deal because she's going to miss Mania. And she's been such a staple of Mania, having some of the best matches. So this has got to be really tough for her.
Yeah, I feel like of all the times of years to get injured, right before the Rumble is never a good one for anybody. But wrestling fans love a comeback more than a stick around. And so she'll return one day and it'll be even bigger and she'll be even bigger. But also, it creates some space for some other ladies to step up.
who's going to step up? Who's going to do it?
I don't know. It's whoever bought the little step up machine that you step up. You're talking about like doing aerobics, right?
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. So speaking of stepping up, we've got some new additions to the SmackDown roster. We got Tyler Bate. He's there now.
All right.
He joined his former enemy Butch, and now I guess they're buddies. So he's gonna join.
Are those like
potentially join that the little faction? That they got.
I was gonna ask if they were the Brawling Brutes, whatever they're called, if they were still a faction.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't get a stupid name, so he might not be able to be allowed in.
Right. They're just gonna call him Tyler Butch. There's gonna be Butch, Tyler Butch, and then Trent's gonna come in. They're gonna call him Trent Butch.
Trent who?
Trent Seven. Was his partner in Mustache Mountain.
Too many Trents. Yeah, they had beards. Doesn't count. Also, the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering are a part of SmackDown now. They've joined, and they're part of a faction with Karrion Kross and Scarlett.
I did not. That's what Tamina said.
Oh, Tamina.
I did not realize that Paul Ellering was coming back with them. I knew that they were coming back, but I just assumed that it was without him. That's fun. I definitely feel
That's
like
a lot.
I definitely feel like they were a team that did not benefit from being brought up to the main roster. Like it was one of the, and also I think timing, because I'm pretty sure it was not that long before the pandemic, and they were put with Seth, if I'm not mistaken. And I was like, okay, that could work, and they could be his muscle, but then
they were around before that. Like, I don't think the pandemic, or I'm sorry, I don't think being the main roster hurt them in any way.
No, you don't think so? I feel like they were.
Why? They're gigantic dudes.
I know, but I think this is just the problem with having your developmental also be a TV show that at the time I was still thoroughly enjoying, is that they felt like a huge deal in NXT, and then they just don't feel that way when they come to the main roster, which I think is just kind of a problem we've seen throughout the years.
Yeah, but that's still just follow through or having an idea for them. But these guys, the look of them right away, you go, well, they're a big deal.
Yeah, no, I can get that.
They're no Viking Raiders.
What if they just joined the Viking Raiders?
Well, that would certainly help them, I think. But I'm curious to what the identity of this group will be, because you had the mouthpiece of Karrion Kross before, who would do a lot of talking, but now you got Ellering and Scarlett would talk. So I'm very curious. There must be an idea in place here, but it's a unique group to say the least.
What if like they're just the Dark Order, but in WWE? It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be called the not light group of people. Well,
do you need to workshop this for a
little bit? A little bit. Yeah, give me like 10 minutes.
I don't know.
Actually, it's somebody. They'll just call them the Dark Order. They don't need to come up with something different. They'll be like, oh, fuck it, go ahead, sue us.
Velveteen Dream released an apology video to WWE, the fans, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and some others. This was a big discussion on our Discord.
Yeah, everybody hates it and hates him for all he's done. And it's like, fuck this. It's insincere. It's garbage. I was a little bit more defensive of the guy. It's not great, but it's also like we also just need to allow room for people to make efforts. And I think people are trying to question whether or not it's authentic. And I'm like, yeah, there were people who were like, oh, why now? And I'm like, well, because maybe he didn't think he needed to apologize until now. Maybe he's in fucking 12-step, or maybe he's in the program, and he's like, I don't know. I think that we need to be a little bit more open to people attempting to make good, and then we can figure out after the fact whether or not it's sincere. But I don't know. People were like, oh, we didn't apologize to his victims. I'm like, well, maybe that's not what this is about. Or maybe that is a way to protect those people. Or maybe he's doing that privately. Or I don't know. By all means, I'm not trying to.
I think the acknowledgement of the victims or something probably would have been good, because otherwise it definitely screams of, I want my job back.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of stuff could have made it better, but that's also just not how people are. Like, sometimes you need to fucking take steps, and everybody's not immediately perfect every fucking thing they do and try. Look at this fucking guy, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, but I think he's also earned a lot of scrutiny. So I think you can scrutinize, because I certainly, when I saw it, I go, hey, a guy who's accused of being a sexual predator of underage people don't wear hunting gear during your apology video. That looks bad.
Mike Lucas says, I'll admit I saw it again and I'm pulling back some of my reservations.
But that's still a table for 9.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean,
I think there should definitely be more. I think, Hogan should have made an apology video a long time ago, or sit down with somebody. I mean, we're seeing the thing with Jonathan Majors, Kang from the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing a sit down that I think comes out tomorrow at the time of this recording.
Okay.
Where addressing like all the things that went on and maybe publicly apologizing. I don't know. So there certainly needs to be this when something bad goes down.
And there's
it's
also
tricky when you just see a guy doing it by themselves and just setting up a camera and you're going, what's going on here?
Yeah. And I will defend the people who say like, oh, this seems like, I mean, what you just said, like, seems like, oh, can I have my job back? Yeah, no shit. Kinda like, I mean, if that's what you do and it's what you've done and you thought this was your career for life and then you don't have that because you fucked it up, I could see somebody being like, well, I need to get right so that I could get back on the path that I'm intended on being on. And,
Yeah, but you may have to do more than just go, hey, big company, can I be back here? Sure. Hey, you may have to go work at a couple other places.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. But the reality is that like he doesn't need to apologize to fucking TNA, so he doesn't mention them in the goddamn video. It was, it was the business he had done with WWE that he fucked up, and so that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that part. I'm not saying he has to apologize to them. I'm just saying like, do not expect to go back to work for them immediately.
No, not at all.
Just go ask him.
Well, because you need to like put in work too. It's not just the apology video. Like you need to. It's like I was saying on the Discord, like, the next step would be figuring out how you can help victims of similar shit or enlighten.
Do not slide in their DMs to try and help them.
Don't do that.
Not. That's number one.
Honestly, even just like associating yourself with a fucking charity in some capacity and like. Just
NAMBLA, also not a good one to reach out to. They are not a charity.
No?
Nope. They may think they're charitable, but no, it's not good.
Well, what else beyond our Velveteen?
Well, there's more videos.
So many videos.
Galore. Everybody's putting out a video. If you don't work for WWE anymore, make a fucking video. Elias put out a video. Who is no longer Elias? He is now Elijah. And I think
wow,
he now encapsulates what is played out and don't do it anymore. And you're fucking, I am no longer working for WWE video.
Yeah.
You can't bury yourself.
Right.
You can't have a tombstone of your old name.
Right.
You can't resurrect. You can't come out of a grave.
Like it's rebirth. All of these themes that we see over and over again.
And he's like wearing a hat when he buries himself and then comes out of the earth with like a white tank top. There's no clear, like, I am this now. Like I've rid myself of these old clothes and I do this. He's still got fucking video game dead eyes. He's just weird, but he's Elijah now. So that's the thing. And then, Ryan Nemeth, not Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth.
Right.
They showed up at WrestleMania or Wrestle Kingdom. They showed up in the crowd, and then came through and walked around. And then I'm gonna call him Dolph for a while. I just can't wrap my head around it. So Dolph then attacks David Finlay, who won a new championship in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and gave a rambling, incoherent promo, much like my setup to this whole segment was. And he also then made a video of he's a wanted man and he fought a zombie version of his brother and got out of a cop car because he was handcuffed because he was totally handcuffed in WWE, I guess, and had to fight a bunch of brain dead zombies, I guess. And
are we putting that metaphor on the video? Was this just him being like, I want to make a fun video with zombies and my brother? Or
not
do we think
when
it ties it
like you show back in wrestling and then the video is released on the day or a couple hours later. It all ties into
right. Yeah. Should we just blame Dean Ambrose / John Moxley for this trend? Was that like the catalyst for this?
I think that one works, but you got to be more unique. Like you can't keep doing this.
Because there was EC3 made one as well, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I know Maverick did, or Drake, what's his name? Spud, Rockstar Spud made one.
Yeah.
This should be an episode. WWE release videos, or it's just like I got fired videos.
Yeah, or the rebirth of who I am videos. Like, and now cut your hair, fucking dye your hair, get a tan. Like anything, any of the small stuff would now just be mind blowing in a video.
Right.
If any of these people we saw, like, holy shit, they cut their hair short. Look at that.
Right.
Like if Elias had a crew cut.
There's also something to be said about Mox's video. The one that, I think we can kind of blame for all of this is.
No, I don't. Again, I don't blame.
Okay. Well,
because if you made the first video of like, I'm breaking out, I feel like I was imprisoned in this place and now I'm loose. Like, okay, cool.
Sure.
That's the first one.
What I would say is it still feels like a wrestling vignette. It still feels like this is to come. Whereas a lot of the other ones are like people making a big statement. It's more about like talking to us or like explaining the past or telling the story versus like a trailer for what's to come.
Yeah.
And I think
like,
that,
you have one guy like going and shopping for new gear.
Really? Who did that?
No, I'm saying you could. How? Like they have their old gear and they go like, I'm done with that. And then go and try like putting together the new thing, going like, I got a new look coming. Like something just kind of fun. We go, hey, cool.
Right. Apparently Ruby did one as well. Mike in the chat says.
Yeah, she gets a new tattoo that says like caged. So
it's the word riot with 2 T's, but she just crossed one of the T's off. So it's just 1 T now again.
Fixed. So we have that. We have Andrade El Idolo has confirmed his AEW departure. So, maybe he'll help the wife with a little bit of rehab and then go, okay, bye. I'm going to go take your spot. She's like, we're not in the same spot. Okay, bye.
Right.
So he's most likely WWE bound. It seems like him and Triple H were
right
tight. And that's a very likely. There's a lot of stories like this person's likely to go back to WWE. This person's likely to go here. That one's pretty on those. If I'm putting money on any of them, that's the one I'm putting money on.
Yeah. I mean, they like when the couples work together.
Yeah.
Plus they get claims. Dad. They get claims on that baby. Everybody knows that.
That's right.
They get baby dibs.
2 more stories here. 2 major stories. We'll start with the more unexpected one first, that Kevin Dunn has left WWE.
Wow. That's
you know about this?
Long time. Yeah, I did hear about this. That's a long time tenure, isn't it?
Over 40 years.
Man.
And so, all the stories, and the teeth and all the jokes about it, but it's like that guy is a major part of all things WWE of the presentation.
Right.
That guy was, putting together the shows and the format of how we see it and how it's shot and the way it's directed.
And
that guy's a fucking major factor, the whole thing.
I was curious, 61 years old. Do we think this is a retirement or I'm leaving the company to go work somewhere else? Because it could just be
if he doesn't have money, good Lord.
Right.
What did you do with it?
Right.
So maybe there's an itch for some other thing. Like, I love basketball and I want to go produce or direct that. Maybe, but I would doubt it.
I mean, he is also, I think, to a lot of people, intrinsically tied to Vince McMahon. There is a possibility that with Endeavor happening, with Vince stepping away, I'm putting that in air quotes, that maybe it's just like, this is this isn't where I am anymore. This is not things are different now. Maybe him and Triple H don't see the same way, or I don't know. Like maybe this just has to do with the changes in WWE.
Yeah, because I could see in large parts. I worked for Vince for 40 years. This was his company, and I worked with him, and other people coming in, I'm not that interested anymore. And
Right.
I liked working directly with Vince and doing my thing. Because if someone else is coming in and giving you notes and telling you what to do after 40 fucking years,
Right.
I can see that easily being no, no thanks, no interest.
I'm good. Yeah.
I'm good. And hopefully it's on his terms. Hopefully he got to do whatever he wanted to do. And it's like, I'm out. I got money. I'm paid. I'm good. And he wants to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. So
Yeah.
I know they've tried to have him on documentaries and stuff as of late, and he's just had no interest
in it.
So says the inside scoop, but I would imagine he's good. So that's just a major change. It's just a major fucking change in WWE. So I'm assuming from seeing the programming that I've had, other people have been directing, other people have all been trained and know all types of his jobs. So it's just going to keep being a well-oiled machine that's going to continue on.
Yeah. At this point, it's bigger than any one person.
Yeah, there's not been anything glaring where people have been going like, they're fucking missing shots left and right on the show. What's going on? Right. We can certainly see when Jim Johnson left and we've had our CFO dollar signs and other people when we go, some of the music's all right. And like, I was just watching Raw Day 1, and I was like, oh, Nia Jax. And I was listening to the song. And I go, God, what the fuck is this?
Awful. I never thought that I would miss the I'm Not Like Monsters song.
Like most girls.
I know, but the first time it ever played, I think it might have been a friend of the pod, Paul Bianchi, thought it said, I'm not like monsters. And I don't know why. It's stuck and it's just funny for us. Yeah, that's again, anytime someone has that sort of tenure, you go, yeah, they left. They worked there for so long that it's like, yeah, okay, sometimes you work a place for 40 fucking years and it's time to move on, especially if you're 61, because maybe he is just like, yeah, fuck this. I don't need this shit anymore. I'm going to go sit on a fucking beach somewhere. Or, for all we know, he's got like grandkids and he's like, this is my life now. I'm going to go be granddad.
Or TNA's doing a relaunch and who knows?
He's like, I got to get in. I hear they got TNA
Kevin Dunn Invasion.
Is he going to do he's going to do that little move? He's going to do the...
I'd love to see Kevin Dunn do that.
Outsiders.
Scott Hall. Little slide in. That'd be I'm sure a chiropractor would be fascinated by that video. God, look at the scoliosis on that man. But the main story, as was promised on WWE Raw Day 1, that a former WWE champion would be returning to that episode of Raw. And we got a fun swerve in which it was Jinder Mahal coming out. And everyone's like, oh, all right.
It was that crowd reaction was amazing. I do kind of feel bad for Jinder because I do like him. I think he's good at whatever they give him to do. But I did kind of feel bad at the hush that came over the crowd when his music hit, because it wasn't even like a boo. We thought it was somebody else. It was just like oh. And I think it's because people don't hate Jinder.
Where's Pedro Morales, you son of a bitch?
And I think it's because people don't hate Jinder Mahal in the way that they think that we might be like, it's not like he's like this big giant heel.
Right.
So we go, maybe he's going to come back and be a good guy. Wait,
do you work here? Right. Wait, does he, I don't know the status. Like, has he been on and I haven't watched? Like, everyone's just trying to feel the room. And if they're like, if I yell boo,
are you going to be
does
mad
that seem
at me?
racist?
Yeah.
What if I just don't like him? Can I do that? Can I just boo an Indian dude? Is he Indian or is he like fucking Canadian? Like everybody's asking all these questions to each other and just going like, but trying to be sensitive, and then The Rock comes out. It's like, yeah, well, fuck him. Fuck Jinder. He's a piece of shit. Yeah,
I will say though, like Jinder was cutting a really good promo before Rock. Like it was pretty good. Like there were some timing issues because anytime you have like the heel guy who has to reestablish and then speaking in a different language, and then the bit of like you just booed your national anthem. But the problem is they didn't really boo. It was scripted that you guys are so stupid you don't know, but they didn't because they didn't. I think everybody, the trailer, the promo went on for that long that I think everybody started now to expect another person to come out. At first, it was like, oh, maybe this is it.
Their timing is a little heavy-handed.
Yeah, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the guy that's coming back and he's going to challenge fucking Seth Rollins. Like, who knows? We don't know what's going on.
Right.
But then it went on for so long that it's like, all right, someone else is clearly
All right, who's
coming
next
out.
Are they really not ready yet? Like, what's going on here?
Which I'd also, I don't know if they need to figure out a way. I think what likely happens is the cameramen run up to the ramp to get in place. Because what happened before Rock even came out, everybody that's opposite hard cam is up doing this, not even listening to Ginger, because they're like, something is going to happen. Like,
yeah, production usually has to tell at Mania's other stuff where if you're in the right spot and then it's that fucking flock of bird heads where once a couple people see it and then it's just all these heads turning all at once.
Yeah.
And then their eyes off the prize and going like, well, fuck whatever's happening.
Yep.
You told us something else is coming.
You told us to look
the Rock's
over here.
Music hits and the place goes
insane.
Banana.
Yeah. And it was fun. And I will say Rock's promo is fun. The two of them had a good time. Rock's taking pot shots at his own career, which is nice to see. Fucking Baywatch.
Fucking knocking Baywatch. Really? Right now with Zac Efron doing so good.
But I do love that he goes back though. And I like that Rock realized, oh, I missed a good joke here. Wait a minute, hang on. You didn't watch Baywatch? It doesn't matter that you didn't. Like, he literally had to remind himself of his own shtick. It was fun. But I will say, man, that fucking ending, I did not expect that. And it got me. I went like, oh shit. I thought he was going to make some joke about pie when he was like, oh, I'm going to go out to get something to eat after this. And I was like, all right, it was going to be our pie joke. But then he turned around and he said, where should I sit? Maybe I'll sit at a table. Dug it.
Why not at a bar stool?
Dug it. He said, didn't he start with, I'll sit at a bar stool, sit at the bar, and then at a booth?
Yeah, but why not? Why not just commit? Why are you searching?
Oh, you meant like Barstool Sports? Like I'm going to sit at Barstool Sports?
Yeah, one bite. Everybody knows the rules, Rock. Come on. Cena did it.
Right.
Yeah. So are we? So yes, acknowledging he wants to sit at the head of the table.
That was fun.
Heyman has retorted on SmackDown, acknowledging Rock and what he wants, and seeds are now planted.
Yep.
Are we indeed going to get Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania?
Yeah, for the titles and the bloodline, I guess, for the seventh time.
Or just seeding.
Right, that's true, because it might not be a championship match. It might just be like, I'm here to show you that you're not actually the head of the table. It's exciting. Some people I know are not happy about it because I think, there's still a little bit of that. Well, what about Cody? And but here's the thing. Maybe beats Rock. He could still beat Rock. I did see something online about.
Are you saying Cody beats Rock?
No. I'm saying like people are saying, oh, if Rock comes back, Rock's clearly going to beat him. Rock's the guy, but maybe not. Maybe Roman does beat Rock, and therefore it can still be Cody.
Okay.
But I should have clocked it. I think I might have been just scrolling on my phone. I did see speculation about Roman's championship reign overtaking Hogan's, and how
which is the third.
I think it's
longest reign,
third or
because San Martino's number one.
Yeah, and that's never
one of his first title reign.
Yeah,
and then I want to say maybe Hogan and then San Martino again, because San Martino's got a 7 and a 5. I want to say, right. And then Hogan's got a 3 and a 5. Or it's been so long. I think I was most familiar with it during when Punk had his long WWE.
Well, because then they started telling
tenure.
Yeah.
And they were showing graphics all the time, and I'm a visual guy. So when I hear it, if Michael Cole's telling me, I ain't going to pick it up. I'm fucking.
Oh, it's that's what I thought. One is San Martino, 2 is Backlund.
Oh, right.
And then 3 must be Hogan.
Okay. But are they including all the runs of those guys?
I think it's
again, San Martino's got 2 of them.
Yeah, no, I think it's just single run, not collective times holding a title. But the point I'm trying to make though is if they have him,
I got it.
If they have him lose before next year's Mania, essentially, then he doesn't surpass Hogan, but they might want him to, which means we might just want to strap in because this reign might still last another year and change.
Strap on.
What's that?
Strap on.
Strap on what?
Not strap in. Come on. Have you learned nothing from Lars Sullivan?
Listen, we don't really talk about that era of Goldust, okay? With the green suit and the ball gag.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm not angry when like The Rock comes back for a little while. Like it's fine. He's exciting. He's fun. And maybe this is all, maybe we get Rock in the Rumble and then it's not as clear as like, well, you've got CM Punk claiming, like, fuck it. I'll take Punk and Rock. Who cares? That's fun. Even if it doesn't mean anything. It's just like, yeah, this is just a big fun marquee match in 2024.
Big stars are always helpful for WWE. We've got the window is closing on these big stars that they keep bringing back. Like it's Rock has been out for a while and not on the table for this. And, we talked about on the show that there's a shit ton of money sitting in a pool waiting for these people. That Taker's out of the mix. Stone Cold's likely out of the mix for ever now. Edge was taking a piece of that pie.
Goldberg was, but that seems to maybe have wrapped. Yeah.
And they've only got so many of these left. And so they're throwing shit tons of money at him. And like we said, Rock didn't have a great year in Hollywood last year.
No.
So this can help rebrand, reshape, just revitalize, and finally help Roman in that way. And they get to do whatever they do. And if it's closing the chapter, if it's opening up a whole another chapter for Rock, who knows?
Yeah.
But I don't think it hurts everybody else, especially when they have 2 nights of Mania and just brings more eyes. Like clearly Jinder got to do something with Rock. That's 100%. Pretty fucking cool.
100%. And something that's going to be memorable for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, if you get Rock and Punk again, if you get Cody and Rock, I think what's important is overall, you have to utilize the big stars. If you only have the big stars coming in for the dream match or the repeat match of somebody, because it's a big marquee
for
thing.
For the last time, those matches,
and you're not utilizing the segments between him and other superstars on your roster, getting somebody else over, letting somebody else get one up on them, doing the promos back and forth, then it's a waste, in my opinion.
I agree.
I think it's a total bummer. Stone Cold was an exception, but it was all with Kevin Owens, so that was huge.
Yeah.
Did he get to do stuff with a bunch of other people? No.
And there was a little bit of McMahon in there, which is fun for
So it's
right.
You got to utilize it. And so far with Rock, put him with Jinder, fucking great.
And there's also something to be said about this also now gives Jinder a chip on his shoulder. So if this might have just been a big, dumb, fun misdirect, sorry, Jinder, we don't actually have something for you. And that's fine because again, like I'm sure the guy got paid for the day. He's under the contract anyway. He got some fucking TV time. He got to be out there with the Rock, make a memory. But you now have this thing in your pocket where
Rock might buy you a house or a truck.
Right. You never know. Hey. You never know. He's got that Moana money coming back around again. So he might also be able to use this. And who knows? Maybe when Rock is on his way out after Mania, Jinder doesn't forget that night that he came back and Rock stole his thunder. And then he just does something to Rock, a one-off, and then someone comes to Rock's rescue because Rock is on the way out. And then now Jinder has a new feud with a current guy or another big name guy. And you can use this to move beyond it.
Yeah. Totally. In our chat, Tim Redbeard acknowledges what we were talking about earlier, saying Cody beats Rock, paper beats Cody.
Is that the rules?
I think it is.
And then the Gun Club come in for the scissors?
No. The Acclaimed.
The Acclaimed. Oh, wait, they're not part of that? I thought they were all together.
God, what do you think this is, 2023?
Well, I have been still writing it on my checks.
Oh, God.
So hard to remember the year.
That's why I don't write years on checks.
That's why I don't write checks.
Also, what about what you're asking, Cash?
Also, Curtis Mason says, I hope Randy wins the Fatal 4-Way at Rumble and faces Cody at WrestleMania 40. Roman beats Rock at WrestleMania with no belt on the line and goes back after his belt. What does that mean? And goes back after?
Goes back where?
Yeah, I would elaborate there for us, Hurtis. But
just goes back.
Yeah, he says
go back.
He says I wouldn't be surprised if Roman keeps his belt until WrestleMania 41. Yeah, I wouldn't either, because I could see them wanting to get rid of Hogan's reign as You've got Roman, who you've clearly have all this equity in. I think he is like The Rock, potentially like a future movie star, maybe not as versatile, but he's a charismatic guy. And I think they see him as like the next Rock in a lot of ways, but also, they've having people of color in one of those top spots isn't a bad thing, considering how they're all from, 30 years ago, and they're all so white.
Not Hogan.
Good look. No?
He's orange.
He's orange? Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
He's your first orange WWE champion.
I'll still never forget. And I never thought about it, but I don't know if it was an episode of Me, You, and 30 or Alexander and I were watching something and Hogan was on, and it was like he was like burnt tan, that kind of like really deep, deep tan. Yeah. And he just had on the yellow and the red, and I don't know why I never saw it, but she was just like, he looks like a hot dog. Like he's hot dog colored. Just hot dog, mustard, and ketchup. And I've never gotten that vision out of my head. It's just so goddamn funny. I want to make a t-shirt that's just it's like a hot dog but with the Hogan mustache and hair.
You should.
Yeah, we should make that for the shop. Curtis continued, by the way. Roman has to prove himself to the family and then goes back after his belt after Mania. I don't think Roman will lose his belt. I just hope he does. I'm lost, Curtis. Sorry. Maybe Curtis meant that Rock beats Roman at Mania with no belt on the line. Maybe he said that wrong, because that tracks for what he was saying.
I don't know.
We may never know. Well,
we may not. But I think WrestleMania is definitely escalating.
Yeah.
I think for the Rumble, it's building a lot of excitement, having Punk back, that they're on a streak of success right now with sellouts and tickets, and Money in the Bank. It was just announced for Toronto, I believe.
Going to Canada,
and it's going to be a 3-night event.
Do you think
where SmackDown's on a Friday, Money in the Bank's on a Saturday in July 5th, SmackDown, Saturday, July 6th, Money in the Bank, Sunday, July 7th, NXT Heatwave. Go ahead and go to your cars and leave the venue early.
So, do you think that all the branding for Money in the Bank will have Canadian money on it instead of American money?
Oh, the toonies.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Toonies in the bank.
Yeah. I think if they don't do that, they're screwing up their opportunity for some branding of Canadian. Like, it's Canada. You can't have Money in the Bank in Canada with a bunch of American bills on it.
No. Idiotic, to say the least.
Well,
but there's a lot of stuff, like to the point of, will Roman lose the title if they were maybe not doing so great with selling tickets and doing everything? Then you could see like, let's change it up and let's do something. But I'm very curious behind the scenes to what's going on with Cody right now. If Cody's like, yay, Rock's here.
Right.
And then going to Punk like, is this kind of what it was like before? Yeah, dude. You think you're going to be the guy and you think something's going to happen, and then they fucking bring somebody back. Somebody on the roster right now, like a Braun Breaker.
Right.
Like someone's going to be at the right time as they're coming up and being the guy, and you go, wait, are they finally out of fucking old guys? Right. So I get to just be the guy? Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Yeah, I do feel like there's like an 8-year gap in old guys where, like, because the reality is the next level is like Miz. And it's like they're just not that. Yeah, they're not that. And they've never left. They've never gone away.
Right. And they're just not going to be the big mega
stars. Not going to be the mega star. I guess Cena, kind of. But even he's.
But that's already, that window is shutting, and he's already been brought back. And so it's damn near over.
Yeah. It is interesting. It's interesting to see. I will say they've done a great job in the past year or two of placing all their chess pieces in ways where there's excitement. Like there are a lot of big names that they have a lot of action figures to play with that don't seem like some of Tony Khan's action figures, which may or may not be as exciting to other people as they are to him. I mean,
you know what? Tony Khan has wrestling buddies because he hugs all of them.
Right.
That's what he has. He doesn't have action figures because it's he wrestles around with him and then gives him big hugs. Like, I'm sorry.
They'd snap. Yeah. Well, Scott Narver, it is about that time. That is it for all the news that's ever happened in the world of pro wrestling. We do have a hotline call we're going to take. But before we do that, it is time for our January 2024 Championship Palski Battle Royal. If you don't know what this is, well, you got to head on over to patreon.com/pwpalskis and become a Championship Palski. Each and every month, all of the champions are entered into the Championship Palski Battle Royal, a.k.a. your name is thrown in this jar. We pick a name at random every month, and you are the champion. Current champ, acknowledge him, Tim Redbeard, a.k.a. Bloodfuzz, currently in the chat right now, so he got to witness whether or not he retains. What do you get for being a champion, Scott Narver?
You get all kinds of stuff. You get your name in the lights, as you see on the show here, and then these shows continue on in the land of YouTube. And so you get your name in the lights. You get your name in the lights also in the Discord. You get acknowledged as the champ. You get a championship watch-along pick of yourself that we have our watch-along series that's exclusively on our Patreon. And if you win the championship, you get to choose the match that we watch. And if it's for sentimental reasons, you get to say why and what it is. Or if you're just like, oh, I know one of these guys fucking hates this wrestler, I'm going to make them watch this match. Whatever you want it to be. So you get to choose programming for our show. And also, you get some swag. You go to the Dragon Wagon Radio shop, and not just for our show. If you're like, yeah, I like your guys' merch and everything, but oh, I love Myth Understood, or oh man, I loved On Your Mark, and you want to get some swag from the shop, you get a special code in which you get yourself some free or heavily discounted swag, depending on the price of the item. But yeah, you can get yourself a free t-shirt if you want. Perhaps a heavily discounted hoodie. Maybe you want a phone case. Well, that comes with being a champion.
So without further ado, you want to see who that very champion is going to be? The first champ of the year, 2024, is AJ0314, a.k.a. Binary. There it is.
Whoa.
Binary champion once again. It's a binary new year. That's what I like to say. Is a statement that I just came up with right now. Let's see here. You know, I love to immediately.
Yeah, when you're under the mistletoe, you get a real 0010069.
You know, I immediately love to go to the sheet. I love going to the sheet. Got to go to the sheet immediately. Let's see. AJ0314. He was recently a champion in October. And was beaten by Alice Rayler in November. AJ0314, keep your eye on your email. And we'll once again give you your code to claim your winnings. Let us know what you'd like us to watch. Looks like it is looks like AJ's third title reign.
Whoa.
3 title reigns for AJ. So those of you, I think Mike Lucas is our official stat keeper out there on the Discord, by the way. Third title reign for AJ0314. Thanks to you. Thanks to everybody for your continued support of this program. Once again, please consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/pwpalski. Scott, say goodbye to the live stream.
Bye, live stream.
747-666-5606. That's the number to the Pro Wrestling Palskis hotline. Scott Narver. Let's see what we got in the hotline today.
Sounds good.
Hey there, Palskis. It is Spits of Retribution, and I am calling because I am hearing right now, as of right now, the title match with Roman Reigns will be a fatal 4-way at the Rumble. And I am hearing rumors that The Rock is going to interfere and cost Roman his title. And also that will go to Randy Orton, which will set up Cody versus Randy and a protege versus mentor feud, which, that part sounds really cool. But I got to tell you, if the person to end this streak is Randy Orton, that feels to me like the biggest wet fart in church. I don't know, like we've had so many good opportunities. Drew could have done it back at the Castle, and that would have been a huge moment. Or Sammy in Montreal could have been a huge moment. Even Cody at Mania would have been a really big moment. And all those moments just got urinated away. And And if it finally comes down to just Randy Orton in a feud with not much build as a setup, The Rock versus Roman, I don't know. It seems like a pretty lackluster end. But hey, if y'all could sell me on it, or if your thoughts on it are the same, just let me know. Talk to you later. Bye.
Mass Llama. Okay, this actually clarifies something from our chat just a couple minutes ago. I don't remember who it was. I apologize, but maybe it was Mike Lucas who was saying like, "Oh, I want him to win the Fatal 4-Way and then face Cody
Curtis
and blah
Mason.
blah blah." Curtis Mason, thank you very much. I did not realize that Fatal 4-Way was a title. We're not recent. I think I'm an episode behind. I haven't watched Raw, so I didn't know that the Randy Orton match he was alluding to was a title match. So that makes sense now. So does Rock cost Roman the title and then Orton wins it? That to me seems, I'm with Mass Llama here. That seems like a wet fart for sure.
That doesn't make any sense to me of why you would do that. That seems so out of character for Rock.
Sure.
To go in and go, oh, there's a Fatal 4-Way going on? Well, I'll just fuck with Roman then. I'll just let him lose the title to one of these four guys for a long reign that it is to lose it in a 4-way to one of the guys that chances are Orton would pin somebody else, like he'd pin LA Knight or like it doesn't, that is so lame across the board.
Yeah, I agree.
Why would Rock do it? Why would Rock also forfeit the idea of, I want to sit at the head of the table, but I didn't want those titles either. Like, who gives a shit?
If anything, he comes and helps Roman win, and then he says, it's because I want your ass. It's because I'm going to be the one who takes that title from you. And he ends up helping him when it seems like, Cody or whoever. So it's Cody, Orton, Roman, and LA Knight. Is that what you said? No, it can't be Cody. Cody's in the Rumble. Who's the fourth person?
Let me look it up.
Sure.
Because I'm all jumbled now too.
But
that I would sooner think, because Orton is on SmackDown and Cody's on Raw.
Right.
Those are those shows. I'd sooner imagine that fucking Orton would win Punk or fucking Rollins' title.
Right. The World Heavyweight. Yep.
And do that. If that's the protege, if that's for a title, then it's that one. But even still, I could see them doing that match, but it's not for any title. So the 4-way at Royal Rumble is Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles versus Randy Orton versus LA Knight.
Right, AJ. Yes. Yeah. Roman's not losing that match. It just doesn't make. I don't see it working. I don't see it.
Not in a 4-way.
No.
Not
after this reign.
And chances are that's not the main event of the show.
Right. 100%.
You have 2 Rumbles.
Yep.
It is not a major event. It is not as major an event as it should be if Roman loses that title in a 4-way to any of those guys.
Right.
It is not that significant.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I think we're all on the same page here, and I don't think it's going to happen. So whatever rumors you're hearing, tell the people who's whispering them to shut their stupid mouths, Mass Llama.
I say this: be excited for the match. Have the anticipation that he might lose and something could be shaken up. Because 2 of those guys, if they were to win, I'd be super fucking excited. I mean, if Randy wins, it's okay. But AJ Styles, have you seen how fucking jacked he is right now?
It's kind of strange. I think that he thought he was also going to be in the Iron Claw, and they're like, "No, you're just a regular wrestler, dude."
Someone called him a flat body. He's like, "Hey, flat earther, you're a flat body." He's like, "Fuck you! I'll show you all the craters on my body."
He's like, my body's round and rotates around the sun, unlike the Earth.
Have you seen it though? It's nuts.
It's nuts. It's great. So I like when a wrestler comes back. I mean, Randy Orton even is bigger too.
But AJ fucking started carving it. It's weird when you go, well, Vince is gone now. Why'd you do this now?
AJ looks like Pac all of a sudden.
I think Pac was like, oh, I used to look like that. I don't have that anymore.
All right. Well, we got one more hotline call. It's been sitting in the bin for a while because we haven't been around. Let's see what this one is.
What's up, Pro Wrestling Palskis? It is your December 3-time champion, Tim Redbeard from Connecticut. Hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I wanted to leave a message about the year of wrestling review from my take. Like our amazing hosts, I have become more and more so detached from the world of wrestling. I still do watch the PLEs. I haven't bought a AEW pay-per-view in quite some time. Just because, I mean, honestly, it's mostly money related, but I just don't have that sort of connection to it. And when I watch these guys just killing themselves every night, it's not just PLEs. I mean, they go above and beyond on their pay-per-views. But they're weekly shows. These guys are just like wrestling. Like, it's the last match of their lives. And it's kind of tough to watch. But for me, when Bray Wyatt died, that was honestly like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I mean, I think I'll always watch the WWE events. Maybe I'll watch a weekly show, but in the background. But knowing that I'll never see Bray in the ring again really breaks my heart. And I had such an attachment to him. You know, wrestling is like a core memory for me, so that's why I'll always have it and I'll always check it out. But I just don't feel that attachment to it anymore. I love seeing CM Punk. I mean, I'm a big fan of his, even though, you know, he is a little pretentious. And, you know, but I do think he's great otherwise. And, you know, that's kind of it. Kind of wanted to end on a high note there. So, my new apartment's great. Take care, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Give hugs to those you love. Life is precious. I'll talk to you later. Peace.
Tim Redbeard feeling it. Former champ. Tim Redbeard, 3-time champ. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Apartment renter or owner.
Yes. So we covered a lot of ground there. First and foremost, yeah, the just AEW, like the risk versus reward on the weekly programs. I saw like, I don't know, it's one of these social media, somebody made a bunch of like a montage of a bunch of things, and it was all Darby Allin. And it's supposed to be this, like, look at how great this guy is. And I like Darby. I you know, he's one of my favorite, I'm going to call him an AEW original, you know? When you see it all together, you think like, oh, this dude's he's going to be in a wheelchair and, you know, in the next 5 years. Like, it's the way that he lands, it's insanity. It does not seem to be worth it.
Well, he's always publicly said he didn't want to do this forever.
Sure. So did Gunther. He said he had 3 good years in him.
Yeah, he still acknowledges like he doesn't want to do this forever either. So there are two guys that have been like, yeah, we have an exit strategy. Darby's is one way.
Yeah.
Gunther's is another.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can, to the point of AEW, the pay-per-views, I haven't ordered a pay-per-view from them for a while either, mostly due to the inconsistent programming and it's being so sporadic and all over the place. And
it doesn't feel must watch. Like, even for not the entire program even, but just like a segment. Like, I feel like there are certain things every now and then that, you know, that the E does where I go like, oh, I really do want to see what happens there. And it's just enough to make me go, all right, I'll tune in. Even if it's for that one segment or that one match. But whereas AEW, it doesn't seem to be like that happens a ton, at least for me.
I mean, when was the last time you watched anything AEW?
I mean, mostly with you or Punk. By the way, I went back and like watched all the collisions.
He's not there anymore.
Wait, what happened?
He's gone.
Where'd it go? What happened?
Don't know.
Well, at least nobody's life was in danger.
Yeah. Did you say you went back and watched the collisions? Is that what you're going to say?
I watched a lot of I watched a lot of the Punk collision stuff, and I tried to kind of like get like the story of Punk in AEW. You know, I tried to like just see what was the order of the feuds, who was he with, and you know, I didn't watch every match, but
well, since his departure, all the shows are just they're scattered. They're all over the place. It's just a bunch of weird shit, and that was fine for a show, but both shows, and then the price tag is high for the pay-per-views, and now they're making it a minimum 12 a year. They're doing the monthly pay-per-view thing like WWE.
right.
That it was, right? But now you got to pay for all of them. I don't know if they've lowered the price point for any of that. I haven't paid attention because I just immediately went, well, shit, you priced me out. I liked it when it was a more special event. I get you want to make money and do all that, but fucking that's expensive.
Yeah.
And so the inconsistency there. And then when just before the show today, I'm like, I'll turn on day one Raw. I haven't watched in a while.
Right.
And I go, I want to watch that Rock segment. And I'm watching it. And thankfully, the first part of Raw was good. And I'm just in my head, I'm going, God damn, this is a 3-hour show. And if I want to watch a SmackDown, that's 2 hours.
Right.
So then they get me on the time.
Yeah.
The time is just so much. And then the second I start to see a half an hour of a show that's just a drain.
Right.
And then I just get checked out. So it's tricky. Whether Tim's in the age bracket of us or life, people with kids, money, there's all those things that start to eke out at a certain age range where you go, I'm now measuring. I'm measuring money, I'm measuring time against the thing I like, and it's really inflated. But this is the season where it's probably the best shit for the year. So it's I feel him in that Bray Wyatt stuff is hard too when you lose one of your favorites and you go, well, I don't have somebody else that matches to that right now. Like I'm fucking sad and I don't want to watch.
Yeah, I can understand the need to kind of like step away too if something like that happens, where if you feel something like you feel that much of a connective tissue to it, and then it's not there, and you go like, well, every episode is going to be the glaring omission of this character or this person or this artist, and it's like, I just don't want to feel that. Like I don't, you know.
But Tim, AOP is with Karrion Kross.
Wow.
So just think, that's like everything that you never thought you wanted all together in one segment with Paul Ellering and Scarlett. Maybe they'll both sing. How great would that be?
Oh my God, watching him be like, fall and pray. And that would be fantastic. I want to see Ellering crawling underneath AOP's legs in red lights.
That could be the ventriloquist dummy. I forget its name from long ago. Someone's yelling at me right now going, like this with the Road Warriors. He had the dummy with him.
Yep. Fantastic.
That could be doing that. Fall and pray.
Listen, you might not be the PWP champion any longer, but once a champ, always a champ in our books. Thanks so much for the call, Tim. We love you. Thanks to everybody who's calling the hotline. And once again, that's 747-666-5606, 747-666-5606. Save it to your phone. PWP hotline. Put it right there. You can call whenever you have an idea or a thought or a question. You just call it and just leave a ton of messages.
Put it in your emergency contacts.
Oh my gosh. Then you get into a car accident and then they dial it and then they go, something horrible has happened to this person. And we're like, oh shit, we can't help. We don't know them or who their relatives are.
Something horrible has happened to this person. And also, what's the deal with Deonna Purrazzo? Like, is she really going to be in AEW full time? And do you think she's going to make it there?
Scott Narver, we have to thank our current Patreon Palskis.
Oh, we can do that.
Okay.
We can do that. This is the only show that, first off, we're so fucking interactive. You can almost touch our face. Almost. But on top of that, we are the show that gives out retribution names as well as maximum male model names. Why? Because no one asked us to. So thank you, AJ0314, aka Binary, aka Matrice69, aka the current and new PWP champ, Alex Pierce, aka Figs, aka Zitoys, Alice Raider, aka Invasion, aka Yves Joie, Andrew Beeler, aka Pollen Hate, aka Achu Detest, Curtis Mason, a.k.a. Hurtis, Gilbert Short, a.k.a. Goliathon, a.k.a. Batal Underoos, Matt Slama, a.k.a. Spitz, a.k.a. Jakara Lover, Michael Beltran, a.k.a. Limestone, a.k.a. La Natural, Miguel Diaz, a.k.a. Bipod, a.k.a. Too Much Husk, Mike Lucas, a.k.a. Hackensack, a.k.a. Luge Testicle, Suicide, a.k.a. A.K.A. Tim Bemis, a.k.a. War Trek, a.k.a. Tussle Quest, Tim Redbeard, a.k.a. Blood Fuzz, a.k.a. Blue de Fuse, Tom Hader, a.k.a. Cupid, a.k.a. Cherub, and Tony Griggs, a.k.a. Big Griggs, a.k.a. Grand Grisois.
Thanks to each and every one of you for your continued support of the program. Once again, if you're not a patron and you're listening in, we do hope you'll consider becoming one for even just a few bucks a month. Every single patron gets access to the live stream so that you can watch along as we record these. We tend to record on Sundays. And it's a lot of fun. Hang out. You just shoot the shit with us all day long.
Some shit shoots.
Through the super exclusive patron YouTube live stream.
And this year we're incorporating something new as well, just to jump in so we don't forget it.
Go for it.
With our watch along series that in the past you could listen to the episodes via audio, and now we're incorporating in the new year. We have one so far, and hopefully there'll be more in the future. We're doing video watch alongs as well. So the very episode that you hear us doing, maybe if you're on the go, but if you're at home and you like watching stuff, you want to watch the match along with us and see us watching the match, we have that now.
Yeah.
So
I would argue inverse of what you just said. If you're out on the go, that's when you can watch along, because you can't be at home watching
when you're driving,
watching on your TV or something like that. You can't watch the match and listen to us. So now you can just do it all at once because we're playing the match right there for you. Don't tell WWE. They will be very upset.
Yeah. So if you're in your Tesla, get rid of all that shit on that screen. That's like, oh, this is how fast you're going. Hey, there's another car to your left. Jake's right. On the go, you can watch the watch alongs in your car. Just override all that stuff. And it's like, this is not safe. This is, shut up.
Yeah.
And then just put us up on screen.
Cameras. Who needs it? There's a watch along to have. So video watch alongs being incorporated in 2024. And lots of fun stuff over there. And as I was saying, check out the shop, dragonwagonshop.com. There you can get some PWP merchandise, really great hats. We got mugs, we got t-shirts, we got hoodie sweatshirts, we got phone cases that are really nice, good quality phone cases with some great designs.
There might be a Hogan hot dog thing coming soon.
Listen, you know what? Hogan hot dog. I'm gonna have to get on that. We're gonna have a Hogan hot dog shirt.
Is he tearing? Like, you know how you cook a hot dog too long and it starts to tear?
No, because he doesn't have arms.
Is that his skin?
No, because I don't think it should have arms and legs. I think it's just going to be a hot dog, right? But it just has Hogan's bandana. The top. Yes, it's a hot dog in a bun, and the top of the bun just has Hogan's hair and bandana. Very simple, simplistic design. So you just see immediately what it is. You get it. Oh, okay, I get that. That's Hulk Hogan. But also, it is just a hot dog, and it just has a little mustard stripe and a little.
So the clothes aren't the mustard and the ketchup?
No, maybe I give him a little. Maybe I give him a little mustard briefs, just like his trunks, the little yellow, like a little triangle along the bottom of the hot dog.
Okay.
We'll see. I'll play with it.
What else? You know what I really hope for, Jake?
What?
Is that we get drafts of it on the Discord.
All right. You want me to share the work?
It's like, here's the process. Like, we see some stages of it. It's like,
okay,
stage 1 Hogan hot dog on our Discord.
All right. I'll try to make good on that. What else? Social media at PW Palskis, wherever the social medias are, on the threads and the Instas and the X's and whatever else is, and maybe on the TikTok soon, especially if we can get some video action going. But just look for PW Palskis, and then look for myself at Jake Lloyd Bacon and him at Scott Narver. That'll do it. Thanks everybody for continued support of the show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's always a blast hanging out with you, Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Internet! I'm Coy Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people. And I host Coycast. It's a podcast about all those things. If it fits in on a con floor, we talk about it on KoiCast. Myself and producer Jake do previews, reviews, deep dives, and tinfoil hat theories about everything from movies, TV, and the comic books themselves. I also like to dish out comic recommendations from my 100-plus pull list a week so you know what's best to buy. So join us, True Believer, on KoiCast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
Dragon Wagon.